Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Rob Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And in this video, we are once again talking about college hoops, and on Thursday, we finally broke through that 500 that we were battling, only a tick above 500 truly, but in terms of the big bets that we placed on the slate, we hit every single one of them for the most part, and that led to nearly a 5-unit payout night. So for the last 2 days, obviously, we've been just kind of almost breaking even. And then when you have a big day like this, you know, you double up on what you lost over the past two. And honestly, that's kind of my pocket. That's where I like to live. I know that the losing days are going to be in there based on just how I vary my units. You know, I'm not a one unit size fits all type of bettor. So when I vary my units, there is that chance of dropping into the red when you go 4-4. Or even 5-4 the way that we have in recent days. But very nice to break into the green there. And just a housekeeping note, if you guys haven't already checked out our A-Sun Conference Tournament Futures Bets and Preview Edition on this channel, make sure you go over there and check that out, because we do have some really nice futures that I want you guys to get in on. And if you do have any questions, throw them my way. That's how we make money in March for March Madness. But with all that being said, y'all, before we jump into the small Friday slate, I do want to take a second to shout out today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. And if you haven't already signed up over there using promo code ROBDFB, make sure you go and do so. And also make sure you're following me on Twitter/X at RobDFB, because 3 of our last 5 entries have hit for Underdog. All 6-1 payers, so 6-1 on your money. And if you do want to take part, we post a slip every single day, so make sure you go and do so over on Twitter. Make sure you're following me, and you can follow along on there. But with all that being said, y'all, I'm ready to hop into these Friday picks. All right, for our first pick here on Friday, we are heading out to the MAAC, where we have a game between Marist and Sacred Heart. And I know exactly what you guys are thinking. If you've been following me all college basketball season, you know that we're already betting against Marist. But, you know, in terms of the logic behind it, it's always the same with this Marist team. They're 20-5, going up against a team with a losing record at 12-15, and they're only laying 1.5 points. And Marist is always laying this kind of number because the analytics don't like them, and we've honestly covered against Marist with a lot of mixed results. It's actually going to be curious to see, you know, when I look back on how we did betting against Marist, whether or not we came out profitable or not. But let's go ahead and add this game as a data point here and take Sacred Heart getting the 1.5 points for 3 units for our first bet here on Friday. For pick number 2, we are staying in the MAAC, where we have a game between Mount St. Mary's and Fairfield. And despite the fact that Fairfield in the offseason lost Jalen Leach to Northwestern, this is still a pretty good team at the guard position, and I've actually enjoyed watching them. And that kind of level of play at the guard position has led to them beating a team like a Marist and beating Ryder last time out by 20 points on the road. And in this matchup here, they're taking on a Mount St. Mary's team that I think is actually under-talented in comparison to what Fairfield has to offer. And for that reason, I say we go ahead and take those 2.5 points here. I think the win-loss records are kind of factoring into this line, and I wouldn't even be surprised if by tomorrow morning, this is one of the lines that ends up kind of flipping through 0. So let's go ahead and take those 2.5 points with Fairfield for 3 units for our second bet here on Friday. For pick number 2, we are heading out to a pretty fun rivalry game in the Sun Belt Conference between Georgia State and Georgia Southern. And Georgia Southern is another team that at the guard position I really like backing. They also have some pretty decent balance on both sides of the ball, and they can score at both levels, whether it's the backcourt or the front court. And Georgia State, you know, they've had a very up and down season, but their downs have been really down. I mean, losing last time out against Coastal Carolina is bad news, and they've had a host of blowouts mixed in there as well with their recent performances. And Georgia Southern, on the other hand, is a team that in the Sun Belt tournament, I think they can make some noise. And I think that it starts here on the last day of February. So let's go ahead and lay the 4.5 points here with the Eagles for 2 units for our third bet here on Friday. All right, for our final bet here on Friday, we are heading out to my favorite game of the night. And I would even argue that it's the best game of the night, whether you're a fan of mid-major basketball or high-major basketball, because there's a regionality factor at play here. There's also a rivalry factor at play here. And every single time out, we get some really passionate ball games between these two clubs. And also just the fan attendance and the environment almost kind of exceeds just being, lit or wild or ruckus, and it actually can turn potentially hostile in this rivalry. And this game is between Kent State and Akron, two teams that have been on the top of the MAC for the past decade now. And when you're looking at this game here, I think we're in store for another great game. Obviously, Akron has been red hot, and Kent State, on the other side, has also been playing a lot of really good basketball as well. And I do think that the smart decision here is to take those 4 points. You're getting more than a possession, and I do understand why the line is set here, because Akron is at home, and Akron has been playing the best basketball in this conference. But Kent State can keep this close. They can also win it outright, and I think they're going to be there right at the end as well. So let's go ahead and take those 4 points for 3 units for our final bet here on Friday. All that being said, I really want to thank you guys for checking out today's video. And if you do want to show some love, make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you comment down below. And once again, if you guys haven't already checked out the ASUN Conference Tournament futures bets video and the kind of the preview and the breakdown of the bracket, it's on this channel. So just click my name, go to that video, check it out. It's definitely a way to kind of leverage March to our advantage. I mean, we've absolutely raked during this time of the year for about 5 straight years and 2 years that have been tracked here on YouTube, and I'm ready to do it again. So with all that being said, y'all, as I always say, I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.